there, good evening and welcome to the broadcast. It is a brand new week. Thank you so much for your company tonight. You're watching EBN Prime Edition. Always lovely to present this broadcast for you. Let's take a look at stories making headlines tonight. Ministry of Education cautions against supply of fake examination papers as KCSE enters week 2. Planting activities across all 47 counties as President William Ruto leads in county. Over 20,000 families displaced in Mandera as county government feels the heat of heavy rainfall. Well, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Watch us on Facebook and on YouTube on EBN TV. Our SMS line is 23059. Let's kick off Prime Edition. The Kenyan government announced a surprise public holiday on November 13th for a nationwide tree planting day, which is part of its ambitious plan to plant 15 billion trees by the year 2032. Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki made the announcement via a Gazette notice posted on the social media network X, formerly known as Twitter, following a cabinet meeting held last week and chaired by President William Ruto. And this is the report by Consolata Chibalonza.
President William Ruto on Monday presided over the inaugural of the National Tree Planting Day, joined by the First Lady Rachel Ruto. President William Ruto spearheaded the national tree planting exercise in Makindu, Makueni County in line with the public holiday declared by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki on November the 7th, 2023. Cabinet secretaries also took the lead in a similar exercise across different counties as part of the government's ambitious goal to plant 15 billion trees by 2032. The head of state was accompanied by the First Lady as well, who lauded the initiative.
Wakati nilisoma ile karatasi, nilisoma jina ambaye inaitwa kiu. Hapa inaitwa kiu. Kwa hivyo nashukuru leo maana rais pamoja na viongozi wote wamekuja ili watu wa Makueni wasikuwe na kiu tena. Amen. Kwa hivyo kuna mtu mmoja alisema kwamba panda mti ambao kivuli chake haitakufaidi wewe. Kusema kwamba tupande miti ili tuweze kusaidia vizazi ambavyo vinakuja katika siku za usoni.
Of tree seedlings in Turkana County was led by the Secretary of Immigration and Citizen Services, Ambassador Julius Bitok, where more than 2,000 saplings have been planted in the Ekales center field on the outskirts of Lodwar town. The area being dry, the governor of Turkana has said that special county workers have been appointed to ensure that these seedlings grow to maturity.
For Turkana, it is very important because when we plant more trees, we shall be able to get more water, we get more grassland for animals, we get more better environment, so that those trees will help us actually reduce conflict with our neighbors. It will help us have more water, grazing land for animals, and that by a large extent will even bring peace. So we are here as ambassadors of environment, as ambassadors of peace, and we are heeding the directive of His Excellency.
Public Service Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria on Monday took part in the national tree planting exercise. Kuria led the exercise at Kamobo Forest in Emugwen, Nandi County. He was accompanied by the host governor Stephen Sang, Secretary for ICT John Tanui, and Nandi County Commissioner Caroline Zwili. In Siaya, where he was scheduled to lead the exercise, Kuria was represented by Leah Kasera from the Office of Head of Public Service and Chairperson of the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, Charles Owino.
Kenya ilipoteza mifugo ya dola bilioni 1.8 katika mambo ya kiangazi. Tukiathirika na mambo ya kubadilika ya hali ya anga, inaathiri sisi ambao hatuchafui hali ya anga kuliko nchi zingine. Kenya continues to pay a heavy price, and Africa continues to pay a very heavy price for climate change that we have contributed very little.
Consolata Chibalonza.
All right, now let me take you back to the initial report where President William Ruto has called for concerted efforts in environmental protection to mitigate the effects of climate change. The president appealed to Kenyans to support the government's tree planting exercise to increase the country's tree cover. During the event, 150,000 seedlings were planted as part of a nation campaign aimed at utilizing the short rains to grow 100 million seedlings across the country. Dennis Toromo has that report.
President William Ruto on Monday presided over the inaugural of the National Tree Planting Day. Joined by the First Lady Rachel Ruto, the president presided over the planting of over 150,000 trees at Kiu Wetland in Makindu in Makueni County.
Nawashukuru sana kwa sababu mumetupatia nafasi tulete hapa sherehe ya kitaifa. Hapa leo Kenya mzima tumeungana kama wananchi wa Kenya bila ya kujali chama, bila ya kujali tofauti zetu zingine zote. Tumeungana kwa hii sherehe ya kitaifa kwa sababu mambo ya mazingira Kenya ni mambo ambayo hayana mpaka.
The Kenya Defence Forces had taken over the site where the head of state will plant a seedling to mark the start of a journey toward growing 15 billion trees by 2032.
Historia ya hii shida ya ukame tuko nayo ni kwa sababu ya uharibifu wa mazingira. Maji za Kilimanjaro zinatokea Loitoktok sehemu nyingi, maji ya Ngong ni hivyo. Na kwa sababu ya hii programu yako tuko na hope kwamba mambo yataenda mazuri. Na kwa hivyo hii tunaunga mkono kufufua mazingira yetu, tuko na mito zimekauka sababu ya hii.
The Kenya Forest Service aide Alex Lemarkoko said that 150,000 seedlings will be planted at Kiu Wetland and another 100 million across the country. On the other hand, the Kenya Kwanza cabinet secretaries all led the tree planting exercise across the 46 counties, where Makueni Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr. said his government target to grow 344 million trees by 2032, with that 4 million grown each year.
I think, Your Excellency, one of the things that Kenyans have agreed today during this green holiday is the fact that conserving our environment is everybody's business. Tukifaulu kupanda miti, mambo ya ukame, mambo ya mafuriko, hiyo ni kitu moja ambayo it will be a thing of the past for us. Ninawaomba wananchi tushikane pamoja ili tuweze kufaulu kupanda 15 billion trees na tutapambana na mambo ya climate change.
The government's ambition goal is to plant 150 million trees by the end of the day, aligning with the public holiday declared by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki on November 7, 2023. President William Ruto has pledged that 15 billion trees will be planted by 2032, following the Horn of African region worst drought in 40 years.
Sote tumeungana kwa sababu mambo ya mazingira ni ya muhimu. Climate change is a reality we can never wish away anymore. Na ndio sababu tumekuja hapa kuungana na nyinyi. Mnajua tulikubaliana ya kwamba tunapanda miti bilioni 15. Tulikuwa na mito 23. Leo tuko na mto mmoja, ile ingine 22 imekauka, na hata hiyo moja ni hii Makindu inapata maji wakati iko El Nino peke yake. Na hiyo kazi yote imetendeka kwa sababu ya kubadilika kwa mazingira na kazi ya binadamu. Sisi tumekata miti, tumeenda tukaishi wetland, tukaenda tukaweka kilimo mahali ambapo haifai, na ndio sababu hiyo tuko na matatizo makubwa, hata yanatuletea matatizo ya kuwa na chakula.
Toromo Dennis, EBN TV, Prime Edition.
Now, earlier before that, President William Ruto asked the globe to urgently tackle plastic pollution, and he said it is a growing challenge that continues to impact negatively on people's health and biodiversity. Plastic pollution, he stated, is also altering livelihoods besides choking marine life. The president was speaking on Monday at State House in Nairobi when he met the International Monetary Fund mission to Kenya led by Haimanot Tefera. The fund's resident representative Selim Chakir, Treasury Principal Secretary Chris Kipto, and the Central Bank of Kenya Governor Kamau Thuge were present.
Kenya is delighted to host this session, particularly because it was here in Nairobi that humanity spoke in one voice at the United Nations Environmental Assembly 5.2, when 170 nations agreed to launch negotiations towards a globally binding instrument. The scope of the instrument was supposed to clearly reflect the requirement of Resolution 514 of the United Nations Environmental Assembly, including ending plastic pollution across the full cycle of all plastics and addressing its effects on human health and the environment, and especially the marine environment. The committee was tasked to draft at least 3 things. Number 1, a global instrument that promotes sustainable product design and eliminates the most harmful and high-risk plastic categories, including problematic polymers, chemicals of concern, products and applications, and bring overall plastic production to sustainable levels. Number 2, ensures the need to enshrine sustainable production and consumption patterns and environmentally sound management of plastic waste, which also addresses existing plastic pollution. And number 3, to support the application of the Rio principle, including the polluter pays and precautionary principles, the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities, and emphasizes the importance of operationalizing those principles throughout the provision of the instrument. I want to commend the committee for the work you have already accomplished in your first and second sessions.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Party leader Raila Odinga has challenged President William Ruto to look for alternative means of generating revenue for development in the country instead of taxing Kenyans. Odinga accused Ruto of frustrating poor Kenyans with taxes, saying taxation is not a remedy for solving the development need for Kenyans. The opposition leader said Kenyans are already overwhelmed by the high cost of living, yet the Kenya Kwanza administration had kept imposing taxes on them now and again.
We want to show that it can be done. We know how to organize an economy. We know how to organize and run a growing economy that will be able to offer employment for all the youth of our country. You cannot build an economy through taxation. You cannot build an economy through over-taxation of the poor. That's how not to do it. To stimulate a stagnating economy, to stimulate an economy that is under recession, you need to put money in the people's pockets. You need to introduce programs like Kazi Mtaani, Kazi kwa vijana, so that money is put in the pocket of the youth. That way you'll be able to trigger growth. You will be able to stimulate economy and growth will arise.
To the examination point, Kenya National Examination Council (NEC) has cautioned candidates sitting for their KCSE exams to be cautious of fake exam papers being circulated in various social media platforms. NEC CEO Dr. David Njegere has confirmed that the examination papers being circulated on social media platforms are not genuine and only mean to deceive those sitting for the national exams. He said the new guidelines which were put in place are working well, saying this year NEC is determined to conduct credible exams. He revealed so far 46 cases of malpractices have been reported in the country, saying the number has no significance to taint the integrity of the exam. Meanwhile, the CEO said various measures have been employed to ensure schools in areas affected by the ongoing heavy rains get the examination papers on time.
So today I want us to share what
Today marks the beginning of the second week of the administration of the KCSE examination, and I want to commend our secondary school teachers for the great job they did in week one. Week one went on very smoothly. The new rules that we introduced have been adhered to the letter. That is the double collection of the two papers, the morning paper collected at 7, and I'm sure you have seen at this container. It has been collected at 7, administered between 8 and 10, and the scripts returned to the container, and the center managers collect the second session paper at 12:30, administered from 2 p.m. And that has to a large extent helped us to curb the biggest challenge we have had of the early exposure of the second session paper. We have deployed adequate helicopters to that place, even parts of Kitui, Mutito especially, and we have deployed helicopters even this morning to make sure that there is no delay in the administration of the examination. I can assure you with absolute confidence, there is no single genuine paper that can circulate on those social media platforms. What they're having there is fake papers. What they do, as the PS explained last week, like now the first paper will start at 8. So some of those social media fellows, they will collude with somebody somewhere, and they will look for an image of that paper which is being done. They will try to share it on Telegram. Fortunately, we are working with the Ministry of ICT, and all those cases have been neutered. So there is no effect even on social media.
Basic Education Principal Secretary Dr. Belio Kipsang has affirmed that junior secondary schools to be domiciled in primary schools as it has been. Speaking while supervising the distribution of KCSE exams in Kisumu, the PS stated that the government will push for sharing of resources such as laboratories between the JSS and day secondary schools adjacent to each other. Belio Kipsang also gave the ongoing KCSE a clean bill of health and exuded confidence that the process will be smooth to end without irregularities as it has been in the past.
There will be a number of legislations that will be amended. There may be 1 or 2 new ones so that it can assist us in implementing the presidential working party. The only thing I would want to affirm is that the junior school is domiciled in our current primary schools. And we shall continue to consolidate them. We are putting in some resources together with the CDF to ensure that we have adequate classrooms in grade 9 in 2025 in our current primary schools where junior school is domiciled. We are also working with CDF and other partners to ensure that we have integrated resource centers which will be useful for us in our sciences. Is that the first week ended without any paper being exposed earlier than time that it was expected to be released to students. And I would want to thank the principals, the center managers most sincerely, because that is you. That is what it means to practice our noble profession in the way that it is always respected. As a teacher, I feel proud to be associated with all of us, because if there is one thing that we are doing, is that we are the people who've been given an opportunity to co-create our young ones. And whatever it is that we allow them to do, if we allow them and facilitate them to do the wrong things, then that is how we shall grow them. That's how they will appreciate life. But when we do it the way that we have done in the last 1 week, where our children have an equal opportunity because they all get access to the examination at the same time, then that is the best thing that we can do.
National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has urged Kenyans to be patient as he says the Kenya Kwanza government works to restore economic normalcy. Wetangula insists 1 year is not enough for the government to achieve its promises made during the campaign period.
Nchi ina changamoto. Yeye amekuwa kwa ofisi mwaka moja peke yake. Mwaka moja tu. Tumuombee, tumupe nafasi ili abadilishe nchi yetu. Tuko na changamoto kubwa, bei ya mafuta iko juu. Mungu ametubariki, mvua imenyesha, sasa chakula itateremka. Hata kule kwetu kwenye tunakula busu manaingo, sasa bei ya unga imeteremka kutoka gorogoro ilikuwa 250 sasa iko 70, inaendelea kuteremka. na nafikiri hiyo mahindi tumelima yuko, tumevuna mahindi ya ajabu, itafika mpaka huku kwa bei nafuu na maisha itakuwa mzuri, na Rais Ruto is able and equal to the task.
Tunajua uchumi ni kali, sio Kenya peke yake. Nimekuwa Ghana the other day, tulikuwa na wabunge kutoka the whole of Central and East Africa. Challenges zile tunapitia nayo ni the same Kenya mzima na dunia mzima. Kwa hivyo with time tunajua rais wetu halali usiku na mchana, is a very active president ambaye amesunguka dunia mzima, na hii hali amejikuta ndani yake, si yeye ndiye amecreate. Kwa hivyo mimi tunaomba patience, tuweze kumsaidia, lakini mambo mingi tutaenda kurekebisha.
We have a problem of cost of living, we have a problem of so many other things, but this is our country. We must pray for it and we must work hard to turn around our economy so that our citizens will enjoy what is rightly theirs. Kuna vitu bili Kenya haiwezi kutatua peke yake. Maneno ya mafuta kwa Kenya, sisi kama wa Kenya, we are not an oil producing country. Bei yake inashikanishwa na mambo ya ulimwengu yote, because we don't determine the prices and movement of prices of fuel in Kenya. It is determined by international factors. Secondly, maneno ya pesa hii inaitwa dola. Dola ni ya wasungu ya Amerikani. We have no control over the rise and rise of dollar other than to deal with it through growing of our food so that we become self-reliant as a nation.
Ile maneno ambazo tunaweza control sisi tu.
Elsewhere, over 20,000 households in Mandera County have been compelled to evacuate their residences due to continuous heavy rainfall persisting for more than 36 hours. The downpour has triggered massive flooding, submerging houses, uprooting trees and paralyzing normal life. Mohamed Yusuf, the MCA in Halalio, Mandera East, has urgently called on humanitarian agencies, including the Kenya Red Cross, to expedite their rescue efforts before the situation deteriorates further. Roads have become impassable, businesses have ceased operations, and residential neighborhoods, particularly Darika village in Halalio, Mandera East, have been engulfed by water, leading to the displacement of numerous residents.
100% of this town is submerged. 100% of the population of this town are out of their residential homes, and that is also to say that quite large areas within the entire county are also submerged, including Lafay sub-county, in a town called Damasa, in Mandera North, in Mandera East, which is the second most impacted sub-county, especially around the area of Halalio Dariga area. As far as we are concerned, we are trying our best as a county government to respond to this disaster.
In supporting communities that were affected by floods in Mandera. So a total of around 4 sub-counties were heavily affected with this flood. Specifically, the worst hit sub-county is Mandera South, followed by Mandera East. And as Kenya Red Cross, we have been doing a number of interventions that was geared to a displaced population. Specifically, the population that were displaced around 34,000 within the entire Mandera County.
And sooner or later, as all of us are aware now, that elaborate response mechanisms have been activated, and we expect that effective response is going to reach out to everybody who is affected throughout the sub-county.
More than 300,000 tree seedlings will be planted in the northeastern region, with a target of 100,000 tree seedlings in each of the 3 counties, including Garissa, Mandera, and Wajir. Each of the 441 chiefs in the region will coordinate the planting and growing of at least 680 trees in their locations. The exercise launched, or rather the CS launched the national tree growing exercise in Garissa County, and Governor Nathif Jama, the National Police Service Principal Administrative Secretary Banis Sialalal Lemedeket, Secretary of the National Administration Beverly Opora, and other senior national and county governments were in attendance.
Hii mvua ambayo inatusaidia tupande na tukuze miti, vile vile imekuja na mambo ya IDPs. Na mimi nataka niseme ya kwamba serikali inatambua kuna wananchi ambao wametolewa makwao kwa sababu ya mafuriko. tumeshirikiana na washikadau wakiwemo wenzetu kutoka shirika la Msalaba Mwekundu kuhakikisha kwamba chakula ya kutosha imekuja hapa, na mimi naunga mkono mambo ambayo gavana wetu Excellency Nadhif Jama amesema. Serikali kuu itaunga mkono serikali ya kaunti, ile chakula ambayo iko hapa ndio ifikie wananchi. Serikali imetangaza likizo, na sio likizo ya kuvinjari, sio likizo ya kufurahia, ni likizo ya wananchi wote wa Jamhuri ya Kenya kujihusisha katika upanzi na utunzaji wa miti ili tuokoe nchi yetu isikuwe jangwa, na nchi yetu isiwe inapata ukame ama mafuriko mara kwa mara. Kwa hivyo hii siku ya leo katika kaunti zote 47 kuna sherehe kama hii, na mawaziri wote wa serikali ya Kenya wanahusika katika mambo haya.
Residents of Soweto in Nyali constituency are living in fear and worry of their homes being destroyed in the land they have lived in for more than 30 years after the Mombasa court issued a 30-day notice to find an alternative place. In addition, the angry residents have explained that the land of 13 acres has been contested by more than 280 owners, and now they want the government to intervene because they have nowhere else to go.
Na hii shamba ilichukuliwa na mababu zetu. Tumeishi hapa muda mrefu. Tumezaliwa tukiwa watoto, na sasa nasi tumezaa tuko na watoto. Kuna wanyanya, kuna vijukuu. Sasa hii mnataka mtuvunjie, mnataka mtubomolee. Tutaishi wapi, tutaenda wapi na hawa watoto?
Anakuja kitutisha ya kuwa yeye ni mwenye shamba yuakuja kuvunja. Sasa sisi hivi kama watu wa Soweto tutaenda wapi na tuko na watoto?
Jua kwamba niko kwangu na sitatoka. I'm telling you true. Sijasoma, sijaenda mahali popote, lakini ninavijua mimi, my friend, I don't move.
Sisi hapa hatuwezi kuondoka. Mheshimiwa Rais, tafadhali. Wewe umesema kwamba unatetea haki ya wanyonge. Haki ya wanyonge ni sisi ambao tunadhulumiwa. Leo hii tukivunjiwa na mifua hii na jamii hii na familia hii ambayo unaiona hapa. Mheshimiwa Rais, tutaenda wapi sisi, Mheshimiwa Rais?
Kwa hivyo tunakataa hiyo koti oda, leo tunaifuta. Sisi ni wakazi wa Soweto na tutabaki Soweto, hatutaondoka Soweto. Jua litoka huku liende huku, hatutaweza kuondoka hapa Soweto.
Naomba serikali kama kweli bwana ni halali yake, basi alipwe, awache wananchi wakae mahali hapa, sababu shamba limejaa, hakuna mahali hata unaweza kupata sehemu.
Kama huyu bwana alilipewa hili shamba na ako na hati miliki, aweze kuchunguzwa. Kama ana hati miliki, Mheshimiwa Rais akaweze kulipwa. Kama hana hati miliki, akaweze kutafuta shamba lake mahali kwingine ambapo liko.
Now to sports, two-time Olympic 1500-meter champion Faith Kipyegon has made the final shortlist of 5 athletes who will battle it out for the 2023 Women's World Athlete of the Year award. Kipyegon made the final shortlist after the close of the voting process, which was subjected to the initial list of 10 athletes. The 4-time world champion stands as the favorite to bag the award after a scintillating season that saw her defend her world title in Budapest, while also breaking 3 world records over 1500 meter, 5000 meter and the mile in the Diamond League series. She will, however, face off with world marathon world record holder Tigist Assefa of Ethiopia, world 400 meter hurdles champion Femke Bol of the Netherlands, world 200 meter champion and 100 meter silver medalist Sherika Jackson of Jamaica, and world champion triple jump Yulimar Rogers of Venezuela. The winner of the award will be announced on December 11th. Well, apologies for the typos. It is not sifted, but shortlisted. Harambee Stars head coach Engin Firat has a series of headache ahead of the opening 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Gabon and Seychelles, with nearly his entire backline nursing injuries. Reims centre-back Joseph Okumu, AIK left-back Eric Marcelo Ouma, right-back Daniel Anyembe, Collins Sichenje and goalkeeper Brian Odhiambo are all doubtful. Only 3 days to the Gabon clash. Ayub Timbe, a dependable winger, is also injured, leaving Firat with no option but to try players he has not worked with in the 8-month period that he has been building his team since returning for his second stint with Harambee Stars. The coach, much to his chagrin, said had some of the injured players in mind while preparing for the matches before the unfortunate turn of events. Well, it is a wrap for EBN Prime Edition. Thank you so much for your valuable company. We hope that you're up to date with what is making headlines, and I hope that you actually planted trees today. Well, see you tomorrow, same time, same place. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Have a wonderful night.